go time.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Welcome back to Florida Man Sports. Chris isn't ready with his coffee. Spilled it on himself. Well done. You unprepared.
It was my dog. But go ahead.
Yeah, sure, man. Sorry, you're unprepared with your coffee, just like you're going to be unprepared for the show. Well, guys, we're excited. It's beginning. Week 1, the NFL is finally here. We're all excited about it. So let's jump right into it. We're going to start going on the list, Chris, of the matchups for Week 1. I want you to tell me.
Whoa.
What? You spilled coffee all over yourself.
We need some more reverence. Week 1 is back. Streaming on all platforms. Florida Man Sports. Let's go. All right, go.
Yes, okay. Florida Man Sports, guys. Do
I'm
not
excited.
forget to, if you're watching us on YouTube, great, but we're available every platform. If you listen to podcasts, go for it there. See, professionalism, class,
Streaming on all platforms.
Dignified.
Trying to get a job. Trying to get a job in Tampa. Go.
Okay. All right, well, we're going to start off with our Florida teams. The Florida team matchup right off the bat, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars at Miami playing the Dolphins. Chris, who you got?
The battle for Florida starts now, Johnny Cinco. It is so exciting. Before we go through predictions, I think we can both agree here. It's unanimous at Florida Man Sports, and that is that Week 1 is unpredictable. Okay, Week 1, it's the Super Bowl for every team. Every team starts with 0-0, so teams that normally lose, are going to lose. They don't. Case in point, last year, Kansas City and the Lions, they played Week 1. The Lions won. They thought they won the Super Bowl. And then who makes the Super Bowl? The Kansas City Chiefs. So take this with a grain of salt. Is that fair to say?
Somewhat. You're diminishing everything that the Lions did. Yeah, the Lions were in the NFC Championship. So that's a moot point. I get it. Kansas City was there. I mean, some of us picked the Lions to win in Week 1. They don't automatically assume Kansas City.
Take it with a grain of salt because it is Week 1. So everybody starts at 0-0. We start in Jacksonville. We start in Miami because it's Jacksonville versus Miami.
Okay.
Miami has the money line. Don't overthink this one, folks. More of the same is going to happen here. Miami's going to win this game. At the end of the day, Gabe Davis and Brian Thomas Jr. still have to mesh, Johnny. Miami's going to win by 10 points or less. It's going to be a tough game. But at the end of the day, Hard Rock Stadium is Hard Rock Stadium. Don't overthink it. Miami wins this game. And Jacksonville still has a lot of growing pains.
I find it funny where I get what you're trying to say regarding Week 1, Chris, but you can't say Week 1's unpredictable because what are we doing? We're predicting who's going to win the game.
You got to take it with a grain of salt. So, in other words, listen to me, don't listen to Johnny.
No, negative. I mean, ultimately, you're not going to overthink any of these. There's always a couple anomalies with Week 1, but just a couple. So listen to your boy over here.
He's going to tell you here. Too.
Of course I'm taking Miami.
Okay,
Why am I taking Miami, though? Miami under Tua always starts off hot. The always issue with them is that flame going to be consistent throughout the season. So they're going to start off hot. Jacksonville just choked, one of the all-time chokes last season. So they're going into Miami. Tua is going to light it up. So, yes, I expect the Miami Dolphins to go ahead and run through the Jacksonville Jaguars Week 1. Washington Commanders, Chris, new look, going against your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Chris. So, Commanders, Jaden Daniels, the era begins. Who's won this game?
Well, let's go back to last season real quick. You got C.J. Stroud, who did 470 yards and 5 touchdowns to the Bucs. Don't forget, I know I didn't. Then you got Will Levis, you call him Mayo Levis, who had 199 yards and an interception. So the question in this game, folks, is who's going to show up? Which quarterback are we going to get in Jaden Daniels? Now, I've been saying this, folks, and I'm going to stand by it. The Tampa Bay Bucs are going to win this division. And if you genuinely believe that, then you have to believe they're going to win this game. Okay. So I'm taking the Bucs here. They're at home. They're expected to win. I expect them to win. And I expect Jaden Daniels to have a good season, Johnny, just not at the Bucs' expense. Bucs win this one.
I get why you would say that, but I don't expect a whole lot from the Commanders this particular year. But they are going to be better than a lot of people think. They're not going to get a top 3 pick. So I expect them to do better than last. Much like you expect the Patriots to have a better season, I don't. I expect the Patriots to be the bottom of the barrel, get another top 3 pick, but the Commanders I do. But more importantly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a problem containing quarterbacks that run. And Jaden Daniels, we watched him in college, and especially really any run-first college or rookie quarterback coming in, they're going to try to run. They're going to look at their first option, maybe their second, and they're running. And the Tampa Bay defense, especially week one, they're going to have a problem containing that. They're going to figure out Jaden Daniels like we do all rookies eventually. But it's a tough matchup for Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense against this running quarterback who was an elite running quarterback in college out of LSU. Washington Commanders are beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week one.
You're taking the Washington Commanders to beat the Bucs week one.
Beating
is that because you wanted a narrative for us to go back and forth, or is that because you genuinely believe that?
We don't know what we're gonna say. We don't know why are you getting all defensive.
Because it's just ludicrous.
Why are you hurt, bro? Don't be hurt because I made a pick.
One thing that you're not picking in your analysis, or not even thinking about, and
that?
I do, and that's why you come here for the resources.
And what is
here.
that?
The weather. It's a 4:00 game. We're expected to have rain and thunderstorms.
What do you do more than anything else? What do you do more than anything else in the rain?
It makes it harder for the quarterback to run outside the pocket. You may run the ball, but you're not going to play the way that Jaden Daniels wants to play. So stick with the Bucs. Don't listen.
Who's that going to hurt more?
He's just
you're
a mess.
You're hoping.
Okay,
one.
That
weather, what you just mentioned there, just helps my argument hurt you. Baker needs to air it out. He has the weapons you've constantly told me about with Evans and Godwin. They're essentially being non-existent if it's a rainy day. They're going to rely on White. The guy said the most underachieving running back there was last year.
1,500 yards last year, rushing and receiving.
The offense was near the bottom.
Terrible. Okay.
Was 30th ranked last year. Russian, pathetic, was our 28th, I believe. So, no. Now you're going to go ahead and see here this team that had a problem offensively, especially rushing. And now you're going to go to a game where you're going to have to rush the ball. You have a quarterback coming out of college, which was the most prolific running quarterback in college last year.
The key word in that is college. The key word in that is college.
So now, like anything else, rookies always, there's an adjustment, but there's an adjustment in the defensive end. Once there's tape, that slows down. There's no tape right now on him. He's going to light up this Tampa Bay defense.
Okay.
Chris, the Baltimore Ravens. They're going against the defending champs, Kansas City Chiefs. Who you got here, Chris? Now that your feelings are back, hopefully you're still not hurt. Yeah, you're recovered.
I've got my composure back. I do. I hate you. So Ravens and Chiefs. This is the matchup that everybody wants. This is the potential AFC Championship matchup in Week 1. So it's pretty incredible when you look at it. This is another close game. This is the close game carousel. Thursday Night Football.
You're saying it's the close game carousel.
It is, because all these other games are expected 7 points or less, and so weather is not a factor in this one. The money says the Chiefs. The money line's on the Chiefs. I'm going to say the Ravens. Chiefs lost their home opener against the Lions. I mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that they're not going to make it to the championship game, right? So give me the Ravens to pull an upset Week 1. Mark Andrews is nowhere near the injury report as of this recording, so if that stands to reason, the home team's going to lose. Ravens win.
So the Ravens are going to win because Andrews is available. I forgot, but I'm pretty sure a better tight end plays for the other team. So they're playing at home. You're telling me the Kansas City Chiefs are going to lose 2 straight home openers? It's not going to happen. They're going to beat the Baltimore Ravens. Bet on it. Pacheco's going to have a big game.
Bet on it. We do not condone gambling here at Florida Man Sports.
It's,
but yes.
Yes. We're not going to tell you to do it, but it is what it is. Actually, I just did. But I'm not going to tell you how much. But ultimately, a home game for Kansas City, defending champs. They dropped it last season. They're not going to drop it again. I'm as interested in seeing in this game for me what King Henry is going to look like in this new Baltimore offense. The Green Bay Packers, Chris. Green Bay. They're going and playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're playing in Brazil. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting game. First time NFL games down there. Who you got in this game, Chris?
Yeah, this is Friday Night Lights, folks, in Brazil. Couldn't say it any better. Ultimately, you got two teams that have a lot on just Week 1, but they have so much riding on this game, Johnny. It's so important for any team that has potential to go into the playoffs to start the Game 1 with a win, which is why everybody wants to. But I'm going to go with my gut here.
Weed.
What?
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with my gut in this one. I'm very high on the Eagles. I've been high on them all summer long. I'm going to stick with them. Green Bay still has to figure out what they're going to do at the wide receiver position. They've got 3 talented wide receivers.
That's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have, but you still got to figure it out. So I'm going to take the Eagles. Eagles fly in Brazil. Another close game. Eagles win.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot that are off Week 1 here. I mean, ultimately for me, when I'm looking at both teams, there's been significant changes for the Philadelphia Eagles. Maybe not positive for Jalen Hurts. At the end of the day, we know that Jason Kelce finally retired. And it's already been spoken about, even Hurts said it himself, that he was the guy calling the audibles, the slants, the pushes, the switches. He was the guy looking and making the calls. Kelce, yeah. So Jason Kelce retired, the center. When you lose, probably the most important piece for your offensive line, that changes. Now everything is on Hurts. You have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. Now, Kellen Moore, great offensive mind, but he puts a lot on the quarterback, especially airing it out. Hurts hasn't shown me enough through the air that he is the guy. I've been following Hurts since college. When a coach asks more of Hurts, from college to the pros, it hasn't worked out. When Saban asked Hurts to go more from him, he couldn't do it. That's what happened. He lost his job in Alabama. Tua takes over. He's coming in here. The Eagles, they're going to ask more of him. You are big on Hurts because you think that he's going to go ahead and rise to what they're asking him to do. I do not. I think he has physical abilities. I think he's going to be great. The Packers have big problems.
He's one of the
They
best.
have too many good wide receivers.
Johnny, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's got a completely his whole team is healthy. There's nobody that's on the IR. Nobody's going to have to wait 4 games before they have to play. He's got one of the best wide receiver duo threats there. He's in the best shape of his career. He is due for a breakout. And last year he had 4,500 plus yards passing. So what are you talking about?
Stop telling. See, the 4,500 yards wasn't passing. You're thinking of passing and rushing combined. But
it doesn't matter. You just talked about how the rookie quarterback is going to be running the ball. It doesn't matter. He's doing his job.
What I'm telling you is that Hurts is a good quarterback. You're asking me if they're going to beat the Packers. The Packers, at this point right now, the question mark for the Packers is they have too many good weapons offensively. The Eagles have a whole new offensive system. Their primary offensive lineman, their center, the brains behind everything's retired. They're going to rely on Hurts. And from what I've seen from college to the pros, when we rely on Hurts to be the guy, to be the thinker, it hasn't worked out. So, no, Chris, I disagree with you. The Packers are winning against the Eagles in Brazil.
We'll have to agree to disagree.
Take it from your boy. The Steelers, the Russell Wilson era begins. They've already been chosen as the starting quarterback week 1. Is no big surprise to you or I. We expected this. I know you were hoping for Justin Fields, but we both expected the veteran Super Bowl champ to start it up there. He's going against your all-time favorite team, Chris, the Atlanta Falcons, playing in Atlanta. Who is winning this game?
So the money line says Atlanta. We're -3. Close game again, once again. And this is a great matchup for revamped teams. So if you're an Atlanta fan, if you're a Steelers fan, you're getting excited about this game. But let's be real. Russell Wilson has the better coach. Kirk Cousins does not. Okay. So we'll start there. Right. As far as the money being in Atlanta, it's not much, so I'm not worried about that. To me, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to pull the upset. They've got the better team all around, and Atlanta may have the better team 5 weeks from now, but not right now. So it's Pittsburgh that's going to take this one. Give me Pittsburgh to pull the upset, confirming the prediction for Atlanta that Atlanta is not going to win this division. Atlanta starts with a loss.
Guys, if you're first time listening to FM Sports, I want you to be aware of this ongoing trend that's going to happen of Chris bashing the Falcons, because the Falcons are finally someone in the NFC South that's threatening to dethrone the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So everything, he gives backhanded compliments. He goes
the
and
only
says these things
team in the NFC South that is going to be threatened is going to be the Saints, not the Bucs.
So he's going over here saying like, oh well, the Steelers are going to win because they have a better coach. I didn't know having a better coach wins you every game.
I never said that.
There's plenty of teams that have a better coach that still lose that Sunday.
I've been letting you ramble. I've been letting you ramble, but I'm going to have to interrupt you here. Yeah,
only because I'm talking the Falcons.
No.
Go ahead.
Because I'm getting tired.
You know what I think about the Falcons.
I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired of this guy. He just rambles on into oblivion, and then you guys doze off. But hear me out real quick.
Hurt people,
At the end of the day, I know, so don't be hurt. So look, at the end of the day, here's the facts. The fact is, both teams have new quarterbacks. So when I say that they have the better coach, that's very important, right? Because at the end of the day, if they both meet evenly at the quarterback position, they both have experienced quarterbacks who are new to their systems, then you're going to want to lean on what's better on paper, because that's all you have, and then Chris, the coach. Raheem Morris has a losing record. Right. Coach Tomlin is the man. Pittsburgh's going to win.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
I mean, you can't beat that analysis, folks.
You can't.
Losing record to the man. I mean,
okay, so
you know what?
Clearly,
you've convinced me,
you're
Chris.
taking Atlanta.
You've convinced
me.
You
with your shirt, you're taking Atlanta.
You've convinced me.
Trash.
If you want to go with matchups, let's make it very clear. If you think of this year, let's talk about last year. Kirk Cousins.
Give your prediction.
Kirk Cousins is better than Russell Wilson right now. The running back position is better for Atlanta. The tight end position is better for Atlanta. The defense, you can argue towards on par because the defense Atlanta's made some definite improvements to the secondary. So there's things in place. All we can go off, Chris, week 1 is on paper. So you want to sit here. You can't pick and choose.
Achilles tier quarterback is almost even keel with Russell. Yeah, is almost even keel with Russell Wilson.
You can't. No, yeah. I disagree.
Well,
on paper.
Yeah,
on paper,
exactly.
No,
exactly.
All we can go off is
imitation,
on paper.
Imitation is flattering.
You can't pick and choose when it's convenient for you to go off of the paper stats and when it's convenient for you to go off anything else.
You clearly don't know that I have a podcast that I do. I can do whatever I want.
So it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. Like I said, don't overthink this. They're playing at home. It's going to be the Atlanta Falcons to win against Steelers in a close matchup, but still they're going to beat the Steelers team here, Chris. All right, Chris, the Arizona Cardinals. They're going against this beat-down Buffalo Bills team. Who you got here? They're playing in Buffalo.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. Buffalo's expected to win this game -6. Money side says the Bills. For me, Johnny, you got to prove it. You know, the Bills, I feel like, am I the only person that thinks that Josh Allen is probably going to struggle this year? Because everybody's still high on Josh Allen, no matter, I guess because you have Josh Allen, whoever the wide receiver is irrelevant, is their logic. For me, you've got a Cardinals team with Kyler Murray who is going to have a very, very good fantasy football season. So I am high on him as a talent. He's got, of course, we already know Marvin Harrison Jr., among other players. He's got the tight end as well. He's going to be a top 5 tight end this year. So I'm going to take the Cardinals here to pull the upset. I think the Bills have a lot of things to figure out, Josh Allen or not. And even though the money says the Bills are going to win, my money's on the Cardinals, Johnny.
Buffalo is a very difficult place to play in December. In September, not so much. I think this is one of the few games that I think in every aspect we agree on. I expect Murray to have a big game. I expect him to have 100 yards rushing and 200 yards passing this game. Fantasy-wise, going to point this season. Murray, for me, this season is going to be he's going to show up or he's going to be a bust. He's going to go off and have that type of career he had when he had Hopkins on the team and kind of rebound, or he's going to be out of the league. It's something towards like,
he's
all
not
right,
going to be out of the league.
You know what?
He got paid, bro. He's going to be a Pro Bowler this year. He got paid.
No, first of all, that's a big statement to say that he's going to be a Pro Bowler. So
I said he's going to have a hell of a fantasy year. Why would I not say he's going to have a Pro Bowler?
Well, ultimately for me, there's no guarantee. It's going to be like, feast or famine. He's going to blow up and have a Pro Bowl type year. Or he's going to, say out of the league, meaning that, all right, his career as a starting quarterback is done. He still has a contract. He's still going to get some money. But the dude is, 5'8", the shortest quarterback in the league. He was built on speed and accuracy. That's the reason he has him there. And that coach that drafted him, he's gone. So this is his shot. If he struggles, they're going to move on from him. They drafted the best wide receiver in college for a reason, and they can't have a guy that can throw to him.
I think it's going to work.
I think it's going to work as well, but I think it's going to work. We're going to know, obviously, week 1, and I think it's going to start working here in week 1. That's why I said Murray, 100 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, and I do expect him to beat the Buffalo team. This Buffalo team is worn out. They're done. They had their chances. They're going to rebuild in the draft the upcoming years, but what do they got, Chris? Why are people still holding on to Allen? I do think that Allen is going to have a big year fantasy-wise. Why? Because they're going to be playing from behind constantly, and that team is going to have to throw. So he's going to get his interception count up.
If you can stay
that
healthy.
Dude is, that's the given for anyone. But Buffalo Bills are going to lose against the Arizona Cardinals. So we can agree on that, Chris.
Was that the first one we've agreed
That
on?
is the first one we agreed on.
What in the world? Jesus.
The Tennessee Titans, Chris, they're going against the revamped. Everybody's hyped up. Chicago fans are hyped up. Chicago Bears in Chicago. Caleb era begins. Who's winning?
Yeah, and to your point, Johnny, so is the money line, right? Another home team, another money line on the home team, and I'm scratching my head, man. Like, I get it, Caleb Williams, #1 pick. You got a lot of expectations for him, but again, kind of like the Atlanta Falcons, right, with Kirk Cousins, you have a lot of unproven things in that system, new quarterbacks coach, new offensive scheme, etc. And so again, Caleb Williams has to mesh with Allen and company. So no, I'm taking the Titans. I'm taking year 2 of Levis versus the unproven Bears, even though the Bears are at home. And I'm still baffled at the on what merit, Johnny, does the money line align with the Bears to win their first game at home? I don't get it.
Listen. Because what have we talked about?
Give me the Titans,
what have we talked about on paper, guys, and I get it. You're like I said, you pick and choose, but on paper, the Bears look good, man. The Bears look good, but no, you're not. You just said a whole thing. I just started, and you want to jump in again?
I got a timeout.
Jesus Christ! Can I make my point? Go. Go ahead. What's the time?
The Titans are not just on paper; they're stacked at every position.
Lord, give me patience.
Okay, exactly. Let them give you patience. But so you're not. You're. I think you're siding with me, but you're not making my point. And so
I hadn't got to my point.
Right,
I was just stating facts. All I did was say facts. And hold on, let me jump in here. And like you can't disagree with me yet, Chris. I haven't said anything except stating the facts.
You got the Titans, though, right?
Yes, I got the Titans. Jesus.
All right, continue.
My God, I got the Titans because the Titans. Yes, people forget if the Bears are going to beat teams they haven't, they didn't beat last year because they are better on paper. The Texans got significantly better. Their rookie, who was good, has that full year under his belt, has a full offseason. I'm going to take that over. I don't care number one overall. It's too many uncertainties, so many questions that are like, oh, Caleb Williams is going to have a good year. I expect him to have a good year. This team's going to be good. But can they beat Tennessee, who's been revamped, who made some changes, who has Tony Pollard, who have a key weapons in the wide receiver from their defense got better.
Hopkins.
So, dude, I don't want to hear it. You're Chicago Bears fans. You may have a decent year, but you're not beating the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots, America's team. They're a down year, but still America's team are going to Cincinnati playing the Bengals. Chris, who you got?
Not America's team, number one. Number two, I did say, and I stand by, that the Patriots are going to surprise a lot of people this year to the tune of 5 to 7 games instead of the 3 to 4 that they're expected to win. Okay, so that's double the games. But it's not going to happen here. The Bengals are at home, and Joe Burrow is going to be on a mission this season. Make no mistake, folks. We're going to go 3 for 3 because I know you're going to agree with me on this. They're playing at home. Brissett is their rental. Everybody knows it. So there's nothing to talk about there. If you own any player on the Patriots in fantasy, keep them on your bench this week. Bengals win, and they win big.
I agree with you on the way it's going to work out. Patriots are going to lose this game. I expect them to lose a lot more games than you do. But I disagree. You got that rookie Polk. Go ahead and put him in there. They're going to be forced to throw that ball. They're going to be playing from behind. Go ahead and throw in that rookie wide receiver if you have him in the flex position. I don't know how you drafted, but
so
if you have
many
him
better
there,
options, Johnny. God, so many better options.
We don't know.
Flex option.
You don't know what the options are. I'm just telling you, if you're playing in a 14 or even 16 player league, you're down. You're talking about 10 and 12 player leagues. Not everybody does that, Chris. So I'm telling you, Polk, he's the only guy I would consider playing this week here, depending how thin your particular league is.
Listen,
here.
We just went 3 for 3. Will we make it 4 for 4?
I don't know. We'll find out. The Houston Texans, in their surprising year last year, C.J. Stroud starts his second year, his sophomore campaign. Is it going to be a sophomore slump? We don't know, but he starts it off against the Indianapolis Colts. Chris, who you got?
Yeah, in week 1, we get the rematch that we've all wanted. And to your point, Johnny, it's both quarterbacks. Could be sophomore slump for both of them. Who knows? Colts are stacked. Make no mistake this season. And so don't take them lightly going forward, regardless of who you got for this game. Don't take them slightly. And also the Texans, man, they're both stacked. And for me, Johnny, the Houston -3 is the money line. This is a coin flip game. Now, I know you didn't like coin flips from last season, but for me, folks, when I say coin flip, I mean that both teams, anything could happen. They're both could be sophomore slumps.
Okay.
They're both stacked. The money line doesn't suggest anything over than a 3-point game. So, again, coin has been flipped, and for me, the Texans are going to pull it off. The Texans are going to win for the only simple reason, Johnny, is that Stroud finished the season. Stroud showed me what he can do, and so I'm going to go with him in this particular case until he can prove me wrong. Texans win.
Yeah, he finished the season, but I don't think that's really relevant for a whole offseason now, week 1. Richardson, who looked really good before he's got injured. You got Taylor coming back, hopefully not injured, and he's hopefully going to maybe come back strong. You still have Pittman on that team. I disagree. It's going to be a close game, but no. At home, the Colts are beating the Texans. So I do have the Indianapolis Colts beating the Houston Texans at home week 1. Richardson's coming back with a vengeance, pissed off. He wanted to be in the mix for Rookie of the Year. He in his mind, he was expecting to have the same type of year that C.J. Stroud was, and he was on that path. He was having a good year, and then the injury bug gets you, and that was a tough injury, and he was done.
I know last game I was saying about not playing anybody for fantasy. In this game, this is a fantasy football buffet, the Colts and the Texans. That's going to be wild. A lot of players need to be played. A lot of starters.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
going to be an interesting, high-scoring game. We're going to see what happens with that, but The stinker of the week, in my opinion, folks, the Carolina Panthers. They're going against the New Orleans Saints.
Yes.
And there's only two teams that are worth watching in the NFC South. That's the Bucs and Falcons. Everybody else is just a snooze fest. This is it. Who you got, Chris?
Yeah, the fact is we take off right where we left off in the NFC South. Panthers are not going to win their first game of the season playing in their own division. So that's pretty simple, pretty easy there. Saints are at home. Saints are the better team. You've got year 2 of Derek Carr versus year 2 of Bryce Young with a new coach. I think Bryce Young's going to have a better year than he did last year. I think everybody agrees with that. He had a great summer, but not enough to win this game, not enough to win on the road. And I say that the Saints win by 7 or more, regardless of the fact that Canales is now the head coach over with the Panthers.
I think you're over. I get it, overthinking this. Of course, the Saints are winning this game. It's impossible for Bryce Young to have a worse season than he did last year. So, of course, by default, it's going to be a better season. I don't think Canales is going to have a good – he's not going to do well with Carolina because I don't think he should be an NFL head coach. I think it's a joke. I don't know exactly how he got that job, but he got it. Good. Carolina's going to go ahead.
Taken it,
Carolina's going to go ahead and fall off, have another terrible year. But the Saints are terrible. But, yes, they have Carr year 2. They have better weapons. Kamara, so they're even older. But they have certain things in place. Even though Hill, I think, switched to a fullback now. It's a mess going on with the Saints. But ultimately, Saints are beating Carolina. Let's not overthink this, guys. Now, the Vegas – excuse me, not yet. The Minnesota Vikings. My apologies there. They're going against the team we all love to hate, the Jersey Giants. Who you got here with Minnesota and Jersey Giants?
I find it funny you're talking about the stinker of the week, and this is like stinker 2.0.
That's not how
this is
stinker number 2 alert.
Yeah, the one game that nobody wants to watch on Sunday, because at least you could justify to a degree that the NFC South is a matchup or whatever. But
only reason I didn't say that, excuse me, because the Minnesota still has Jefferson.
Why are you interrupting me?
Oh, you mean like you've done
why are you
18,
interrupting
8
me,
times
Johnny? I'm
during
offended
here?
of you interrupting me.
All right. Hold on, can I say something real quick? Stop what you're saying. You didn't say anything that this week, but I'm still going to chime in. Hold on.
You got an injured, riddled, QB-less Vikings versus we have a quarterback, but he's useless. Giants. That's really what you have to in this game, and it's another toss-up game too, in the sense that it's just a trash versus trash. I know you hate me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm going to go with the better coach. The Vikings have the better coach in this one. They also have they have a better team on paper, and Jefferson is the real deal. So I'm going to take the Vikings in this snooze fest. The Vikings are expected. They're -1 on the money line. I expect them to win, and it is going to be a close game.
Yeah, I don't concern myself too much when it close games to be like who has a better coach. I think I get it. Game plan, those things matter.
They do.
But players in the field matter. And with the Vikings, even though they have other issues, if you watch, I can't believe I'm saying this. Sam Darnold looked really good in the preseason. Sam Darnold has looked good. He's the guy leading the Vikings. So with Sam Darnold,
ain't that funny?
Looking good with the Minnesota. Obviously, McCarthy's not going to be in the picture at all. He's not going to have any type of QB contract. He's relaxed. Nobody's expecting anything from this kid from Minnesota. So it's the first time in his career no one is expecting anything from him. He's a starting position. You do great. Hey, awesome. We had hoped you would. If you don't, we expected that from you because you're the dude's 27 years. Don't interrupt me, sir. No, he's 27 years old. I'm not saying Minnesota is going to be balling it out. They're not going to have a good year this year. But we're talking about the Jersey Giants and Daniel Jones. The Giants, who everyone knows, the only reason they won those championships against New England because a couple fans sold their soul to the devil for those championships. That contract's done. Now the Giants are back to being who we expect, the garbage Jersey Giants. They're going to continue down that trend and be really nobody's team. So let's move on because the Giants stink. Minnesota's winning this game.
You wonder why Lewis says you're winded. Go ahead.
Lewis gets winded from walking from here to across his house. Well, yeah, I'm winded. The Las Vegas Raiders, they're playing the LA Chargers, Chris. Who you got here? Divisional game.
Coach Harbaugh's back. First game on the agenda, play a game against a team that should be playing college football in the Oakland Raiders. Yes, I'm going to call them the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah,
now.
I like how you call yours.
You said Las Vegas.
You keep saying the Oakland
but you
Raiders.
said I have them as Las Vegas, but I just want to call them Oakland Raiders because that's who they're going to be going forward. Chargers, they need a wide receiver to step up, but who better to help you get through the wide receiver situation than Herbert, right?
Okay.
So you're in a good position there if you're a Chargers fan. Raiders have journeyman Minshew. You already know how I feel about them. And they're playing on the road. The money says the Chargers are going to win, and so do I. Chargers win. Raiders lose, and there's nothing else to see here, folks, or winded answers.
No, I disagree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand the Harbaugh era starts, but this team doesn't have an identity yet. So they don't have an identity. Sorry.
An identity.
I slowed it down for identity. Slowed it down so you understand there. So anyway, I disagree with you, Chris. I don't see how the only reason you're picking the Chargers to win this game is because of Harbaugh.
Because of Lorenzo, because I hate the Raiders, and Lorenzo can shove it.
You're picking them because of Harbaugh, a guy who hasn't coached in the league. I think he's a really good head coach, but they don't have an identity, and we have
neither do the Raiders.
They do. Like at the end of the day, you're stuck on the fact on Minshew. There's plenty of good tape on Minshew that shows what you can do. They still have a top 5 wide receiver, Chris. They drafted pretty good.
Who was unhappy? Continue.
Okay, is he going to be unhappy enough to not perform in week 1?
Well, if you watch
week 1, we're talking about week 1.
If you watch receivers on Netflix, you would know that he quote does not want to play and get injured.
Okay, if you guys will rewind last season, coming in week 1, Chris said the exact same thing, and he promised you that he's going to request a trade and be out of the Raiders in the season. I said it's not going to happen.
And he did. Instead, what happened is he didn't get traded. They fired the coach. Thank you for proving me right. He was miserable. Miserable.
They fired the coach. Because like we were saying with Josh McDaniels was saying the longest, like, this guy's terrible, he needs to go. And they finally listened, and they did it. This had nothing to do with that. He was just a terrible coach. But ultimately, you're constantly wrong, Chris. But you want to sit here and try to sit here and say, oh, look, I was right. Because Chris has no identity. So, Chris, the Denver Broncos.
Oh, my God.
They're going against the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, Chris.
Yeah.
Who you got between the Broncos, Seahawks?
Florida Man Sports, always want to remind you that we are streaming on all major platforms, so please like, share, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Buffet, where we're giving you who's winning. Buffet. As usual, I'm going to be right. As usual, he's going to be wrong, but we still got to hear him out anyway. Mm-hmm. In this particular case, Johnny, you're talking about upset alert. Okay. Upset alert, because I'm high on Coach Payton. I'm high on Bo Nix. I'm high on the Broncos, surprising a lot of people. But that's not going to happen this game, folks. Seahawks are expected to win. The money says the Seahawks. I'm going to stick with them in this game. While I feel like the Broncos are going to have a very good season, very similar season to the Seahawks, in fact. But I am going to take the Seahawks, and that home field, that Lumen Field, is no joke. They're going to win this one, Johnny.
Broncos are not going to have a good year. Sean Payton's overrated. Bo Nix is overrated. It's not going to happen. The only thing I agree with you there is that Seattle is a difficult place to play. They're playing in Seattle. They're a better team. The post-Pete Carroll era begins, and it begins with a win. Seattle's beating the Denver Broncos. The Dallas Cowboys, them boys. They're going to Cleveland. They're going into Cleveland to play the Browns, Chris. Cowboys, Browns, who you got?
When we're making these predictions, we always got to give you the money line, because I feel like it's important based on our reviews. And again, the money line in this one, Johnny, says that the Browns are going to win at home. Which, again, a head scratcher for me. This for me was one of the hardest games to gauge for obvious reasons. Watson hasn't played with a shoulder injury. He has yet to prove any genuine worth, consistent worth for the Browns. So it's just, again, head scratcher. Like, why are you picking the Browns to win this week, folks? Are you picking them because the Cowboys didn't do enough this offseason? I don't understand. So for me, I'm taking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Cowboys as the away team to pull an upset. It shouldn't even be an upset. Cowboys are winning this one, folks.
Here's the thing, guys. This is the reason why that you see the money line the way it is. Cleveland's difficult to play in. That defense is outstanding, and the Cowboys their marketing team is outstanding. They're clearly going to lead you to believe that they have a better team than they actually do. The Cowboys do not have a good team, folks. Their defense, outside of Parsons, is trash. Secondary is not very good. I'm sorry, but it's still difficult to pick the Browns. Why? Because of the huge, huge question mark surrounding Watson. Now, week 1 is going to tell us everything that we need to know regarding Watson. I mean, I think he's done. I said last season, this guy's done. Whatever he had is gone. He can prove us wrong. He's supposedly healthy. That shoulder issue is supposed to be better now. I don't know. We're going to get close to the Watson that was in Houston. If they win this game, or if he really has a productive game, Watson just needs to be an average quarterback, and the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Cowboys because the Browns defensively are better. Offensively, I get it. They with Dak, with the CD getting his contract, they have the pieces in place there. Yeah, they have pieces in place there outside of your boy Zeke that can really cause some problems. But it's not going to. This team is not very good. The Browns, I am crossing my fingers that Watson is just average. Dude, be a game manager and your team will win. If you start trying to do things extra and turn the ball over, then we know what the Browns are going to be this year and we can move on from it. But I can't play that what-if game. I mean, depending on Watson being an average quarterback, Browns are beating the Cowboys in Cleveland. Chris, the Los Angeles Rams, they go into Detroit to face the Lions. Who you got, Chris?
Yes, thank you, Winded Boy. So as far as the spread goes, folks, in this one, Detroit is expected to win. They are at home. And before I give you my prediction, I will say this without giving you a winded answer. I'm not high on the Lions, folks. Make no mistake, this year, I feel like they're going to be one of the teams that drops off. Mm-hmm. So drop off being said, that's not going to happen in this game. The Lions will win at home. It is game one, week one. Their coach is that rah, we got to win or we're going to die. And so they're going to win this. They're going to win this first week one game, but they're not going to have a very good season. Lions win.
Similar thing. Detroit is coming into their best, coming off their best season in 30 years. Stafford's coming back home, Detroit, but I have Detroit winning their home game week one here. I disagree. I think that Detroit's going to have a much better season than what Chris is saying, similar season that they had last year. But Chris wants to be a hater and say he's a hater of the Lions, hater on the Falcons. Falcons, I understand. I don't know why he's such a hater on the Lions.
I don't want to hate the Lions, Johnny, but they have never in the history of the National Football League, since before the National Football League, have gone back-to-back winning double-digit seasons. Prove me wrong. Please make it the first time in your lives that you win double digits back-to-back. That's all I'm saying.
And there was a time the Buccaneers were right there, and then they proved people wrong.
By winning multiple championships. Thank you.
Well, meaning double.
Lions prove me wrong.
Double-digit wins. Exactly what you just said. There was a time it didn't happen, then it did. So for you, you're like, oh, they've never done it. Look at the team, bro. Look at the roster.
Since you want to bring it up.
Look at the roster. This is an amazing team.
Since you want to bring it up,
you're
Johnny.
just a hater, bro.
Since you want to bring it up, Johnny.
Hater on everyone in the NFC outside the Buccaneers.
I'm very familiar and very versed on the Lions. And what you
very versed.
Yeah, and what your example that is just moronic. And here's why. The Bucs have been around since 1972. The Lions have been around since 1934.
Oh my God!
And so the idea that you want to compare both, and the Bucs have already won multiple championships, while the Lions have had Barry Sanders, while the Lions have had Megatron, while the Lions have had plethora of talent over the years. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's nonsense. Lions are going to have a bad year this year, unfortunately.
Sure. Chris is not going to give you any substance behind that. The only reason he's saying the Lions are going to have a bad year this year because they haven't done it 2 times in a row. There's nothing else. Forget the players. Forget the personnel.
I don't believe in the coach.
Forget the coaching. Forget everything.
I don't believe in the coach.
Forget everything. But just because they've never done it 2 years in a row, that means it's not going to happen.
Prove me wrong.
Ridiculous.
Make history.
Ridiculous.
Hey, listen, if Campbell wins 12 games this year, guess what? He'll be able to coach the Lions for the next 15 years because nobody else has done that. So kudos.
The Jersey Jets, Chris. New Jersey Jets. Your team to win the AFC East, your favorite team. You're like the greatest defense of all time. You have all these high things to say about the Jersey Jets. They're going against the San Francisco 49ers in San Francisco. So, the Jets, what's happening? They're winning, they're losing. What's happening there?
What a great game to finish off what's going to be an amazing week one. I'm so freaking excited, folks. And here's what's going to happen, man. The home team's going to win. The home team's going to win this game. The Niners are going to win. Mm-hmm. The Jets, the money actually lines up with what I've said that they are going to win the division. The money line is -3.5. So it's going to be a close game by all accounts. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets made this one close up to the fourth quarter. But I'm going to stick with the home team based on the fact that it's going to take the Jets just a couple of games to get up and running. And I believe that the Niners are going to go far this year, so Niners win.
Rodgers has a notoriously losing record against the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, plenty of time with the Packers facing the Niners. The dude can't beat the Niners. And all of a sudden, you expect him because you're putting on an ugly green jersey, and then you're going to San Francisco,
hater,
and then you're going to go ahead and all of a sudden now, I'm going to beat the Jets.
You're a hater, bro.
The Jets are the bums they've always been. They're going to, on paper, they look great. So according to Chris, on paper, they're so good, they're going to win. On paper. So when it's convenient for them, on paper matters. The Jets, they always find a way to lose. Some teams find a way to win. The Jets find a way to lose, and they will find a way. Now, Rodgers is he'll finish the game. So, I mean, God bless him. He'll finish the game. He'll survive week 1. But something's going to happen with the Jets. San Francisco winning this game, Chris.
Well, those are the predictions for week 1, folks. As the weeks go, what we're going to do going forward here at Florida Man Sports is Johnny and I actually have to talk a little bit more, unfortunately, and we're going to give you a consensus going forward of who Florida Man Sports has winning each week. Is that fair?
And what's going to happen here, 100%, is obviously week 1 we picked our own teams here, and you're going to see the genius behind one of us. The guy speaking right now.
When I destroy
and
you,
then when it's done, then you're going to know, moving forward, the consensus is really coming. We're going to put our minds together, but we're going to come one unified vote for every single game.
I want all the fans that are listening up to this point, we're already 40 minutes in, to see that I'm going to have to put up with this, and I'm going to do it for you guys so that we can come up with a consensus from Florida Man perspective of who's going to win going forward. Now, before we do that, let's go a little further because it is week 1, Johnny.
Yes.
Let's give the people what they want. Let's give them the very early predictions. AFC, NFC.
Okay.
Let's start specifically with the AFC.
Okay.
Who do you have going to the AFC Championship game?
Okay, AFC Championship game. I had to really I'm analyzing everything there. I'm sitting there. I'm breaking it down, seeing the schedules of every AFC team, trying to figure out what's the seeding they're probably going to get, the matchups they're going to get, what's going to end up happening. What I came down to was simple. After everything, as much as we hate the idea of this same team over and over again, the Chiefs are in the AFC Championship. Kansas City Chiefs, they won 2 in a row. They're in the AFC Championship. Who are we kidding now? Who are they facing? Who are the defending champs facing AFC Championship? It's none other. You paid attention. Joe Burrow having an MVP year facing the Bengals.
You're so predictable.
Chiefs.
You're so predictable.
Championship.
You're so predictable.
Right there, Chris. Toma. Who you got?
So, close but no cigar, buddy. So here's what's going to happen. The Chiefs are going to actually meet the Bengals to get to the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs are going to win.
Okay.
So the Chiefs will be there, but they won't be against the Bengals. It's going to be against the Baltimore Ravens. The Week 1 matchup that I said was going to happen, it's going to be Chiefs Chiefs versus Ravens. It's going to happen. You've got I'm very high on Zay Flowers. Keep an eye on him.
You were
as wide
dogging
receiver.
King Henry, saying that. So you're dogging them. That's not as good. And somehow they're going to.
Thank you. I love that.
Okay,
I love that. Let me explain why.
You love it.
Yes, because King Henry, and the reason why they have him on that team is not to have a phenomenal season, it's to have a phenomenal playoffs. So he's going to have less carry, he's going to have less wear and tear, but when come the playoffs, King Henry's going to be in full effect. So thank you for bringing that up. Another reason why I'm right and you're wrong, it's Chiefs Ravens, baby, in the AFC. Let's see if we can have a consensus for the NFC, Johnny. Who do you got for the NFC Championship?
Same thing, guys. I broke it down. I was in a room for 4 hours, just me, my laptop, and just analyzing everything here, going back and forth. Really, I want you to make sure you guys get the right picks here. So then when you guys because you can make your bets now, like who's in the Super Bowl, who's winning Super Bowl, and get the crazy odds. I'm not condoning it, but if you want to turn $10 into $10,000, this is a way to do it. So think about it, all right?
We do not condone gambling of any form.
NFC. Now, when I look at the matchups, you got one hater saying one thing. You know who's going to be the NFC Championship, guys? I'll give you my first team, Chris. Detroit. The Detroit Lions are going back to the NFC Championship. You get the hater extraordinaire over here who wants to say they're going to fall off. No, they're going back. They're going back to the NFC Championship. And who are they going to face? Who are they going to face? When I broke everything, saw the schedules, trying to figure it out, you know who it's going to be, guys. Right here, the team who lost, the Atlanta Falcons, are going to the NFC Championship facing the Detroit Lions.
If you thought that we were losing our tens of thousands of viewers at 35 minutes in, we just officially lost them. You're picking the Falcons, and again, who? The Falcons and the Lions?
Yeah, Falcons and the Lions, boy.
Wow.
Ultimately, what we have here, now, I had to make a decision on who's going to fall off. Kansas City, San Francisco, they both don't. We know how it is every year. Whoever goes Super Bowl Summit. Last year, the Eagles fell off. They made it, they fell off. San Francisco are a really good team. I still expect them to make the playoffs. But something's going to happen in San Francisco. They're losing the first opportunity they get in the playoffs there. And so that opens the door for other NFC teams, mainly Falcons, who are going to steamroll the NFC South. They're going to win that, be in the division, be ready to rock and roll. And the team of destiny, the Lions there. I'm sorry. You can say whatever you want. Lions, Falcons, NFC Championship.
And who do the Falcons and the Lions have to play? They have to play teams that are very competitive, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, that's you're right.
And
Packers
they
will
have
be there.
to play. Yeah, they have to play all these tough teams, and
That's how football works.
none of them is going to stop them. It's going to come down to the San Francisco 49ers going back to the NFC Championship game.
Who are they playing, Chris?
And they're going to be playing none other than the team that I'm high on all year. Mark it down. You heard it here first. It's going to be the Niners versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Both teams are far superior than the Lions. Both teams are far superior than the Falcons.
The consensus favorites the last couple of years.
Well, you listen to what this joker is just telling you. He's telling you that
Right here, guys. Right
second-year coach, Raheem Morris, with a
Analytics
losing record,
sat there.
has no offensive anything in his brain, is going to go ahead and make it to the NFC Championship game against the Detroit Lions, who have never won back-to-back double-digit seasons.
Guess what happens first time?
Hey,
guess what's going to happen here?
Meanwhile, I'm picking the Eagles and the Niners, both teams that went to the Super Bowl. But hey,
all right. Who's going to Super Bowl, Chris?
Hey, Super Bowl. Actually, I'm going to ask you. You go, ladies first. Super Bowl champion. Who's your Super Bowl matchup? What do you got?
Who's winning those games, Chris? Isn't it obvious who's winning those games? You don't know who's going to win the AFC who's winning, Chris?
Who's going to the Super Bowl, Johnny?
The Super Bowl, guys, is going to be none other than the Lions are winning the NFC. Okay, I know I'll throw a swerve out there. Your thoughts and say the Falcons because you think I'm just a hater. No, Falcons get there, but the Lions are actually going to win the NFC. In the AFC, guys, it's going to be Burrow and the Bengals. So it's going to be a championship matchup, Super Bowl, Lions and Bengals. Lions, Tigers, Bears, the whole thing. But it's going to be an amazing matchup. I'll tell you who my winner is once you tell me who's going to the Super Bowl, Chris.
It's very simple, folks. This year, you don't even have to watch football, but you will anyway. It's going to be the Ravens versus the Eagles going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's going to be one hell of a Super Bowl, too, man. The Ravens and the Eagles, two elite teams from both divisions, both deserving. Ladies first, man. Who do you got winning your fake wannabe?
Who's winning?
Who do you have winning your fake wannabe?
Who's winning? You're picking the Eagles and the Ravens. I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. Okay, who's winning for you?
I'm going to say that Lamar Jackson lays an egg, but still pulls through. Ravens win.
The emotional roller coaster you're putting me
Ravens
through.
Win the Super Bowl this year.
He's laying an egg, but they're going to win.
Ravens win versus the Eagles this year and one hell of a Super Bowl.
Old NFL run-first quarterbacks never win, but they've watered down this version, so it's very possible. I don't see the Eagles. I think that move with Jason Kelsey just falling off, that's going to hurt the Eagles a lot more. On my end here, guys, my Super Bowl here between the Bengals and Lions. Great Super Bowl here. And again, Joe Cool loses in the Super Bowl. Detroit Lions are winning the next Super Bowl. You're here to hear, folks.
So just to be clear, once again, to put a bow on Johnny Cinco's asinine remarks and comments on this.
Why? Because I picked the line.
The team that's going to win double digits for the first time since 1934
Lions are winning.
is a team that's going to win their division, let alone go to the Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl championship
first Super Bowl
with a hothead coach that they have. Okay.
First Super Bowl championship. He's learned from his mistakes. He's not going to make the same asinine mistakes that he's made before. He has all the pieces. He has the receivers, has a tight end, has the defense, has the O-line, has everything he needs. Has the quarterback. This guy's ready to win.
What happened the last time the Harbaugh brothers were both together? One of them won a Super Bowl. That's all I'm saying, folks, when I picked the Baltimore Ravens.
It doesn't have to do anything.
I don't know. I just felt like throwing that in there. Listen, folks, this is our bread and butter. We're so happy that you're tuning in with us here. Before we go, Johnny, any last remarks as far as what this week to look out for?
No, obviously this show has mainly been about football, but we haven't forgotten about baseball. Baseball is getting very interesting. Judge is going off. We look forward to speaking more about that moving forward, but we had to. We've been excited to talk about football, and we'll continue to.
We're back, baby. So. Yes, absolutely.
Don't forget fantasy, guys. Obviously, we have the fantasy show we just put out a couple days ago. So if you still have that draft coming, go back, watch that here, and get some advice from us. And we'll see and move forward from there.
Good point. Thank you for liking and sharing. As always, I'm Christian. He's Johnny. We're out, y'all.
Later.